Hello there guys and welcome, it's Niran here, and today it's time for the second episode of the Ultimate Driver Series. This is of course the crossover series between F1 2013 and Grid Autosport. Here are the rules on the screen. As you can see, I'll leave you some time to familiarise yourself with those. But of course this is the series where I started from Formula C, moved through Formula B and then up into Formula 1. Hopefully here are how the driver standings stand. Leo Turner leading the championship by 2 points, our teammate and rival in front of ourselves. They're the team kicker team, way above in terms of the team standings even. Here the third round of the season though at Hockenheim, we'll be starting 10th on the grid. Leo Turner there first in front of Owen Cook and Cody Harris, the two Intel drivers. As per usual, we've got a pretty bad start here at Hockenheim. This was the third round of the season after Yaz Marina and Brands hatched last time out. Pretty bad start there. Claire Fox able to sweep round the outside of us. There had been a contact there with the female driver. We were able to get back through. She sort of just brake checked us really. Tried to then get up the inside of Zielinski. It didn't work, but later on in the lap we managed to get past Carlos Munoz in the Ford Motorsport car. We did really get held up a little bit by this little group, but then we managed to get up the inside of David Zielinski as well after he got quite a bad run out of that quite cambered hairpin there. Some contact between Matsumoto and Dugaru though on the second lap through the first corner actually enabled us to get past both of them there, the Razor car and the Monster Energy car. It took us a lap, but then we were able to finally catch this group in front of us here. The battle for 4th place. Managed to briefly get up into 6th place, passing Aaron O'Sullivan there, and some contact between, I think that was Cody Harris and Lars de Jong, enabled us to get up into 4th place. We then went round the outside of Cody Harris there on the third lap, but unfortunately we were unable to catch the two in front, being Leo Turner and Owen Cook, and came across the line to claim a pretty decent third and a podium. As you can see, Leo Turner won the race for Team Kicker, narrowly in front of Owen Cook there, ourselves in third, and of Aaron O'Sullivan and Cody Harris. But of course it was now time for race 2, and that meant only one thing, and that was a completely reverse grid, leaving David Zielinski on pole in front of Axel Berg in the Cusco racing car. Managed to get up into 14th place. We started 14th place, we lost 14th place briefly. We then managed to get in between here, Aaron O'Sullivan and Lars de Jong down into turn 2. Not quite the cleanest of moves, but it was a decent one nonetheless. We then managed to get the inside of Carlos Munoz, and that was Claire Fox as well in the Oakley car through one corner. Really bad run there for Hayato Matsumoto, enabled us to get up the inside of him and up into 8th place down into turn 1, and then having reached turn 1 and got out of turn 1, managed to then make moves on Pau Jimenez and Andre Dugaru down into turn 2 there, and we made it up into 6th place yet again. Next up though was Frederick Christensen in the Locomotive car. He made quite a bad mistake there through turn 1, able to easily enough breeze up the inside of him. A switchback move then on the second Oakley car, the Italian female driver there of Aurora Russo, put us up into 4th place, and onto the final lap of the race we'd actually caught the leading bunch here, managed to get round the outside of Dmitry Arsov through turn 1, the Russian, and we then lunged up the inside of Axel Berg, the Norwegian, in the Cusco racing car for second. That meant we only had one driver in between ourselves, and our first win of the season. We managed to make a switchback move on Zielinski. We're holding it around the outside, had to make a move around the outside into the penultimate corner. We managed to just about hold on. That meant we could claim our first win of the series of our Ultimate Driver experience in the Formula C category there. The win for ourselves for Zielinski, Berg, Arsov and Russo. Our teammate Leo Turner only down in 10th place, which meant we were unable to extend a huge gap over him in the championship of 12 points. So I now knew what I needed to do. It was me versus Leo Turner. When we got away from the line on 5th on the grid, Leo Turner was of course on pole. We got a pretty bad start, in fact pretty much worse than usual, but down into the run into turn 2 and turn 1 even, almost disaster for Leo Turner, almost spinning there. We managed to creep up the inside of him and up into 3rd place. A brilliant start. We were now in front of Leo Turner away from the line. He made moves to try and get through. He was unable to. We then found Lars de Jong, who was proving very hard to get past, and onto lap 2 we managed to get past him, managed to slipstream up the inside of him, but disaster would soon follow because Lars de Jong would make an optimistic move up the inside and turn us round, and we were now struggling. We now had Leo Turner in front of us, and we now had to try and recover to get back past him and try and get as far up the order as we possibly could. We lunged a lap later on the final lap of the race up the inside of Leo Turner. We now had to make 2 more moves on de Jong and Owen Cook in the lead in the Intel Motorsport car. We managed to pass Lars de Jong, and down out of the last corner we were only second, but we were bearing down on Owen Cook, and we were able to get out of the slipstream and take the win from him, taking it right at their death to pretty much end the championship hopes for Leo Turner and pretty much claim the championship for ourselves. We won then in front of Owen Cook and Lars de Jong in the Razor car, from Leo Turner in 4th, Aaron O'Sullivan, Cody Harris, Munoz and Pau Jimenez, meaning we had a 26-point lead in the championship. Leo Turner would have to win and take fastest lap of the race, with ourselves not getting any points, and we would be starting from the back. So would Leo Turner, Frederick Christensen on pole in front of Matsumoto and Russo, and it came down to this. This was the last race of the season. This was how it would all end. Right here, right now. We needed to just avoid disaster. 1 point and we would claim the championship. We would claim Formula C category championship, the first step in our road to the Formula 1 Championship. And we made a pretty good start, claiming 2 places off the line, but unfortunately Leo Turner was able to sweep right around the outside of us in a pretty messy first few corners with Owen Cook too. We managed to sweep around the outside there of Lars de Jong, of course, with whom we've had many adventures throughout the season and throughout this series so far. He dropped down to the back as Owen Cook managed to sweep around the outside of both of us, and then we were only down in 15th place, and it would get worse because Owen Cook decided to spin and park his Intel Motorsport car right in front of us. The deed had been done, and we would now have to recover up to 12th place to claim the 1 point we needed for a win. 2 spin-outs, though, helped us hugely. First Degaro and then Aurora Russo in the Oakley car. We were now up into 13th place, and not much effort would have to be put in to claim the points. We managed to pass 2 drivers in a straight line down the front straight, being Pau Jimenez there, and then I think Lars de Jong in the Razor car, that being on the penultimate lap of the race and down into turn 1, completing that move. But we were going to get bullied in the end because Pau Jimenez decided to smash us out wide. We were then down into 13th place with some steering damage too. Managed to get back up the inside there of Pau Jimenez, who we've had many adventures with this so far this series, up into 12th place. We then managed to pass Lars de Jong just to seal the deal, and as it stood, we had won the championship. Leo Turner was only up in 8th place anyway, so it wouldn't really have mattered where we finished anyway, but with steering damage, not really in the most valiant of ways to win the championship, but it looked as if we were going to. It looks as if we are going to win here the Formula C Championship and secure our step up into Formula B for next season. As you can see here, the final standings of that race, there David Zielinski winning in front of Frederick Christensen, Matsumoto, Axel Berg, Munoz and Dmitry Arzov, meaning the team standings finish off like this. We win by 117 points there, Team Kicker, in front of Intel Motorsport and Forge Motorsport there. But the most important fact was that we had won the Formula C Championship in front of our teammate Leo Turner, Owen Cook, David Zielinski there and Frederick Christensen. As you can see, these are the cars we'll be driving next season here, the Formula B loaners. But nevertheless, I hope you've really enjoyed this series so far. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Ultimate Driver here from the Hockenheim ring and here in Algarve. Like and subscribe if you did. Comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed it that much. It's Formula B next time, folks. I hope you had a great day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.